And I'm going to ask the moderator, Kieran, that famous Kiwi, to come up here. And Kieran is, of course, the communications manager at the French Chamber. So,
thank you, Anson, for the
Kieran,
excellent introduction.
good to see you. Good to
as
see
always.
you. I'm going to let you introduce your guests.
Come on down. Look, but before we start, Anson, I did just want to pick you up on something, a little comment that you made at the beginning of today's event, which is that you were saying perhaps your job might be taken by a woman, a robot, but I want to personally remind you it might also be taken by a millennial. Right? So,
Kieran, I'm not afraid.
Okay.
I'm definitely not afraid of you.
Don't be afraid of change. I think
I'm not afraid of change. I'm
if
definitely
we've learned
not
anything
afraid.
today, that's it. I think.
Because, Kieran, let's face it, you millennials, you're just not up to the task.
Right. Okay.
Not up to it. Fighting talk.
Look, we'll see. But I'd just like to invite our two guests onto the stage. First of all, Mr. Gregory Le Coent from Wirquin, and Rebecca Chan from Kingfisher. Take your place, sir. Now, I think before we start our chat, I just wanted to, I think there'll be a couple of quick videos to introduce the two companies we'll be talking to. So if we can maybe have the videos straight away. Thank you.
Everybody should be able to have the home they feel good about. That's why all of us put our passion and expertise into inspiring and supporting our customers in their home improvement projects. But right now, we know we can make it simpler for our customers. We're going to make some changes. At the moment, we source different versions of our products for different countries. This is time-consuming and expensive. We're going to simplify things, starting with our core essentials in a number of key categories. Last year, we had over 27,000 of these products. No one benefits from this many, so we're going to edit this down to around 7,000. Customers will still have roughly the same number of SKUs to choose from. They will just have slightly different product and brand choices. And reducing the number of SKUs has so many benefits, like better quality ranges that really deliver on the customer needs, and fewer vendor relationships, more focus, and lower costs for the same spec of product, passing savings on to our customers. We call this new way of sourcing our products our unified offer. This program is the first big step towards becoming one of Europe's smartest retailers, helping our millions of customers create homes they can feel good about.
Our mission is to improve comfort and hygiene in the toilets, bathrooms and kitchen. We focus our energy and creativity to provide clever design and professional quality innovations, simple to install and to use.
Focused on two different universes, we invent the sanitary equipment products of tomorrow. Our business model is based on a sustained innovation dynamic. Wirquin aims to a complete customer, installer, and end-user satisfaction, offering products, saving water, time, and space.
The group continues with enthusiasm and determination, mobilizing its force and thanks to the ongoing commitments of its employees.
Our ambition is to become a key player in the plumbing and sanitary area in our influence zones.
Right. Greg, first of all, you're a natural on camera, I'm glad to say.
Thank you.
Look,
Sorry for the accent.
we're going to try and make it quick because I know, I'm certain for myself, there's a glass of wine with my name on it just over there very shortly. So look, we're going to be talking about how to get the right product at the right price, which I guess sounds like a pretty simple idea, but I'm sure all of us here in the room know that is not quite so simple, right? So maybe if I can start with you, Rebecca, and the project, that this video mentioned about your sort of new undertaking, this unified offer and so on. That in itself is not particularly unique, perhaps in the sourcing world, but the fact that you have been able to change so dramatically internally is perhaps something quite unique. So maybe tell me us a little bit more about what was the aim behind undertaking this project.
Actually, the global sourcing or central buying is not something new or unique in the market. But what really makes us so unique is how we organize ourselves and how we operate differently in order to effect the necessary change. Why we need to change is all come from customer needs. So right at the beginning of the session, we are talking about customer, how customer really influence us over 80% is really important, especially for Kingfisher 2 years before. We go into 1,000 families all across the Europe. We really want to see, want to feel how our customer using their space, how they live, how they use the product in their home, make their home really good to have. And from there, we're quite surprised to find, actually we find a lot of similarity instead of differences on their daily life. Starting from that, we really organize and operate differently from end to end in order to fit our customer needs. As what you see in the video, where we start from, we organize our whole product category. We simplify the product range with fewer skills that make us easier to manage the marketing message. For sourcing, we pump up our volume, we improve production capacity, efficiency, and make the automation possible. All that kind of value created and the saving, we generate back to our customers. This is what we really unique and how we differentiate from other sourcing office.
And I guess the aim there is also to design a product fit across a range of countries as well. Is that correct?
Yes. As you see, we in the past, we are looking for a bunch or huge of a range for our customer to select. But actually, most important is how we find the product fit for our customer needs. We need to listen to our customers. How one single model or limited model still can fit all the customer needs is how best we close to our customer, how best we understand our customer. This is definitely what's the new direction for us.
And I guess, this discussion here is really to give, I guess, a bit of a practical case study. We've had some great theory and some great examples here today, but I think it'd be interesting to hear from you, Greg. Obviously, you're working with Kingfisher in collaboration with them. I mean, how have their changes impacted that process of collaboration between the two of you?
It did impact, actually, the collaboration. First, I want to point out that the video you just showed about Kingfisher is really what we feel now from the customer. So it's not just a marketing video. It's really happening right now, and it's going quick. We've known Kingfisher at that time 40 years ago. It was Castorama only at the time. And so we have a long cooperation history with Kingfisher Group. And honestly, it's tremendously changing at the moment, and we're trying to keep up with the pace. Hopefully, we're doing well. There's 2 points I want to point out in terms of the collaboration, what has changed drastically between before and now. In terms of cooperation, before, we used to have local buyers. So we'd go in each country, meet each buyers for each categories. Sometimes we have several categories in our portfolio. Some countries, we even have local, regional managers to decide also on the product assortment. So long and complex process. Now, you have a unique team to whom we can talk to. So that's very important for us because it's a unique speech in full transparency, like we spoke today many times today. There is only one presentation on what we can offer to the customer. So that makes the speech unique, so more transparent. The training also for us is a very key point. And again, in the past, we used to face mostly buyers, sorry guys, that were not necessarily technically trained, skilled, or even interested in products. They were looking for price, not necessarily understanding the product. In the Unify project, what we see now is we're not facing a buyer, we're facing a technical specialist team of buyers, supply chain managers, product managers. So we're talking to our equivalent, and we feel that in our meetings and discussions with you guys, we have a very good understanding on the technical side, logistical side, quality side, and it's a very positive aspect for us.
And how does that dialogue, I mean, how much influence do you have in the decisions that ultimately Kingfisher makes? I mean,
a maximum.
how does that process work exactly?
Okay, before we come to any buyer saying, okay, this is the product I have for you, or you would come to us saying, okay, we have a promotion. What do you have as a toilet seat, for example? So it was not really a common proactive process. Now, in this new process, they come with a need, with a volume, with a target as countries, as product standards, because the consumer need is the same, but the standards are different, and that's where we get into the very, very technical questions. And this allows to propose unique product, or unified product, like we saw in the presentation. For us, it's good to product unified product, and for you, it's good and easier to distribute simpler, shorter ranges of products. So it's really win-win organization.
And for you, Rebecca, that sort of streamlining of the process that we talk about, how does that help you to better answer the question of getting the right product for the right price? How does that help you?
As Gregory just said, in the past, we have line buyers making line decisions across Europe over 1,200 stores. But nowadays, we only have one team, one process, across all functions, across all expertise. We have our architect, product designer, engineer, sourcing, logistics, supply chain, packaging, merchandising, all working collaboratively into one project. We have a much quicker and simple process. We make quicker decisions. We make faster reaction. And most important, we still have enough room for all the necessary discussion in terms of technology, in terms of product, in terms of our best logistics solution. Only by doing all these kind of things, it makes the operation excellent. And it makes make sure the product is really right to the market, to our customers. And also the second question is how to better answer about the right product and at the right price. We involve all the expertise, including our first-tier supplier. Even we extend our arm to second-tier suppliers in order to cover all the innovation, in order to get all the transparency along the value chain. And as you know, nowadays the costing is very transparency as well. You go into the internet, you can easily access all the costing information. But what and how you can make sure your cost is really the lowest one, how you really create value. So this is how to make sure your product at the right price. So how to assess the lowest price? We go into the cost structure on the whole value chain. We review. For this project, surprisingly, we are not talking about material, but we are more focused on logistics. I take a more practical example is when we review the logistic cost, we really find out we need to do something. We need to put a lot of energy to reduce the logistic cost because it's a big and huge product. And how we work closely with packaging, we work closely with suppliers, we work closely with logistics department. We maximum our container loading, and it improved up to 30%. We load 30% more in one same container, and we lower the cost in that part. So that's what the lesson learned is, how to do smarter, how to really understand your cost structure more in details. And second is create value for customer. So this is also how we work with Wirquin very closely. We need to listen our customer. For toilet, what's important to our customer? Easy to clean, whether everyone clean your toilet. You will see how horrible if you really need to clean the toilet. Easy to clean is important. And water saving, we hear our customer. Sustainability is really important for them, water saving. So that's the reason why we involve second-tier supplier in the very early stage in order to get all their new technology, their know-how, their telco import to the product at the right beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Is that also, I guess, a question of simplifying that? Instead of making two products, you're making one. Is that the ideal kind of situation for you? Yes,
it's a really win-win situation. For suppliers, they can pump up the volume, they can have a production efficiency, automation possible, and at the same time, we simply have a better design on the product. For example, for the toilet, why we have 100 models before, and now we have only 14, because the inlet of the water and then outlet solution of the different countries, we have a smart design to combine all this regulation into one model. And that's really solved the problem to have a huge amount of range, but we now have a more slim line, but we still cover all the needs in the market.
So maybe for you, Greg, I mean, what's your role in that in terms of educating Kingfisher as to how they can actually do that? Because we're not talking about cleaning toilets, obviously, but
no.
You know, what is it that, you know, how does that process work of educating them?
Well, as Rebecca just said, Kingfisher has access to many consumers every day, so the knowledge of the consumer from Kingfisher is huge, and that's for us an important information feeding. That's one of the win in the win-win business. On our side, as a specialist manufacturer, we also have an expertise in the very detailed technique of our product. So we also have an information, some kind of technical information we can bring together with the consumer expectations in order to make the right product. So how do we educate Kingfisher? We didn't try to educate Kingfisher, actually. What we did is, in the different meetings we had, we said, okay, according to our knowledge of this category of products, the flush mechanisms, this is what we know being a problem in the market. Like you said, how to clean, how to use, how old it would last, how much water it can save all year long, which was obviously benchmarked with your own remarks. Then we said, okay, according to these problems on which we agree on to focus, this is the solution we propose you. And have the product, test the product, install the product yourself. And in order to be 100% transparent, we said, okay, this is our solution, but this is also what you will find for the same kind of products from the competition. And the team of specialists we had from Kingfisher in our different factories installed with their own hands our products, but also the competition products. And in the end, we didn't have to influence Kingfisher, we just let them make their own choice. But in fact, it was kind of obvious. So it was kind of easy. The result of this, and that's in the end the target, is that the consumer gets the best possible product at the lowest cost.
Was there any sort of, you know, in being so transparent about what your competitors are doing, was there any sort of resistance or fear on the behalf of some people, you know, within Wirquin that maybe we shouldn't be doing it like that?
There's always resistance to changes in some way, but again, it's a 40-year partnership story. Even though things are changing with the customer, we're happy because we feel this is the right way to go. And as far as we feel the willing and the message correspond to what we feel and see on a daily basis with Kingfisher, why would we try to hide something? I think you have all the information more than we do, so if you try to hide, you will be losing in the end. So transparency is really a way to succeed. Yeah.
Okay. And so looking ahead for the partnership that you have and also other partnerships, I mean, what does the future look like for this kind of collaboration? Is this the right model for other organizations, or is this something specific just to certain organizations like yourself?
I think design the unique product which create value for our customer, which make it affordable to everyone. And design the unique product which is fit for their life today is definitely our direction. And that's also important to engage and integrate all the know-how and technology and innovation from our partners, no matter it's second tiers or first tiers. As long as the technology is here in the market, we need to integrate right at the beginning when we are really plan our product for our customers. So when we have such right product, right price, we can pump up the volume, it can benefit, and we can grow together. And when we go together, they can invest more on their know-how, on their expertise, and we have a better product. It's definitely a win-win situation for me.
It is, agreed.
So is that maybe what you mentioned in the beginning there, is that maybe product design itself is kind of the key, or it's the new way of sourcing? Is that what you would?
Definitely. And new product development is definitely our future.
Mm-hmm. And for you, Greg, what's the plans for this collaborative project coming up?
Like we just said, we have the same interests. Less SKUs, more volumes. Our target is to grow within Kingfisher faster than Kingfisher is growing with his own customers. So if we achieve this with the big players, it can only be a win-win situation. So that's what we're targeting.
What is there challenges that are posed with kind of keeping up with that pace? Are there challenges there on that front as well?
Rebecca talked about the speed to the market, and that's been many times the subject today. To give you a very simple example, the first project we had, mechanism, usually we take from 12 to 18 months to develop a complete mechanism, from start and drawings to the finalized product. For this project, within 7 months, we had the installation ready and ready to manufacture. That's what you visited last week, so this week actually. So is definitely something which is working. It put a little bit of pressure on the manufacturer, but in the end, it's a win-win.
Right, I think that's fine for us, unless you have any final words to add. But otherwise, I'd just like to ask you to give a round of applause to our fantastic panelists this afternoon.